Well, it's my 10-year anniversary on YouTube. It was 10 years today that I reviewed Punch-Out for the Wii's Virtual Console. It's strange to look upon the 800 plus videos that I've done over the years. That is a lot of games that I played. That encompasses 3 different console generations of Nintendo products. That would be the Wii, the Wii U, and the Switch. Every year I do a top 10 best and worst games that I reviewed that year. That means I have 10 number ones for each of those years, so I decided to rank them and figure out which one was the worst Nintendo game that I've ever reviewed. I'm going to start with the worst because I like to save the best for last. Now, some of these games might not seem like they're the worst the system has to offer, but these lists were always dependent on my reviewing the game, and I didn't review every bad game out there, but I have done quite a few. Now before I start, I want to say that some of the video isn't great. In my first year or so, I was still learning how to capture video, so it looks a little weird and squished together. So please excuse that. It's only on a couple of them. So let's get this thing started with number 10. Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. This title I actually have a love-hate relationship with. I love one of the games in this collection, which is where you're stranded on a desert island. Other than that, this is a pretty boring title with minigames you have to unlock. So that means doing a lot of grinding on games that are just dull to play, just so you can unlock better games that weren't really that much better. I think the only way this game could work is if it was actually packaged with an Animal Crossing game. This should have never been its separate release. This should have been a mini game that you can play wrapped around your town in the new Animal Crossing.
But that doesn't exist.
I meant in the future, that's what this should have been.
It's not going to happen in the future.
Then you could be playing with actual people from your town. This doesn't feel like a game that should have been separated. Number 9. Truth or Lies? What do you think of the idea of a party game with a lie detector in it? Sounds like it could be fun, right? Well, it might sound like it, but if the lie detector doesn't work, the whole gimmick behind the game is broken and not very fun to play. Plus, the questions they ask are too boring for an adult party game. In the regular game, you can pass on a question 3 times per person. The questions were usually pretty inane questions that were normally very pointless. I never really found anything juicy, not even if you played the adult mode. The adult mode just had some adult-themed questions.
Let's get things started with question number 1. Snaps. Among those in the room now, with whom would you most like to discuss Tolstoy's writing over a glass of port?
I don't want to answer that question because it's stupid. Number 8. Yamaha Supercross. The main reason I didn't like this game was that it looks terrible. And honestly, it was very boring. It's just going around a dirt track over and over again. Now I know that's pretty much what dirt bike racing is, but the publisher could at least try to make it interesting. This has got to be one of the most boring games I've ever played. They put the least amount of effort into making the game, so I figured I would do the same with this review. The publishers took a somewhat interesting concept for the game and made it completely dull by keeping it too simple. You should skip this game because it sucks. Number 7. Christmas Adventure of a Rocket Penguin. This one was part of a Christmas video where I tried to find all the Christmas games that were available for the Wii U. I was kind of desperate to find a game to play. Now the Wii U was kind of known for really bad budget indie games, and this one was my least favorite to play that year. I mean, the game makes no sense. Why is a penguin collecting presents? Where are these monsters coming from? You draw lines on the screen to make your tracks, and it worked just fine, but it's not that fun. It kind of feels like a free mobile game that someone tried to get money for. It's so shallow and pointless, it's not worth the $1.99 they're asking for. Number 6. Jaws the Ultimate Predator. This one has you playing as Jaws, and while that might sound cool, the very unrealistic movements of the shark and the terrible camera made it a chore to play. Plus, this game has the distinction of me having 2 reviews for it. And I don't mean a revisit, I made 2 different reviews for this game, because I couldn't decide how to do it. He decides to eat every human he sees. So you pick off the construction workers, who really don't care about Jaws until he actually eats them. In fact, if you attack and miss, they swat you away like, "Stupid shark, stop trying to bite me." After you kill all the construction workers, you need to go do some more destruction. So Jaws decides to go free willy on the boats in the marina. Of course, everybody remembers the part in the movie where Jaws jumps out of the water and breaks the boat in half. Oh wait, that's right, it never happened. Because that would be stupid. Number 5. Family Party 30 Great Games Obstacle Arcade. This title is lying to you from the title screen. 30 great games? No. There isn't a great game in here at all. They were all so basic and dull. I can't imagine a family getting all together and saying, "Yeah, let's play this." A Wii U game that looks like it was ported from the Wii. Okay, I kind of get the family party and the 30 great games. Okay, not really the 30 great games, but we'll get into that in a second. But obstacle arcade? What the hell is that? That's like two separate things put together. That would be like horse race swimming. There is not one great game in this collection. There isn't even a good one. The best you could say about one of these games is that it's playable. And you could really only say that on a few of the games. Also, what's up with that purple smog in the background? Where is this place? In the middle of LA? Number 4. Monster High 13 Wishes. This game wanted to be way more than it was capable of being. It wanted to be an open world platformer. The problem is the level design was too big. Everything was just a chore to get to, and the graphics made it look like it was an N64 game. Now you start off in Monster High, which of course is huge, and it has basically no one in it. As you're blindly going through the school looking for a place to start playing the game, you'll come across the most ridiculous pool you'll ever see in your life. It, like everything else in this game, goes on forever. Not only would this thing be a death trap for kids, since it would be very hard to keep a lifeguard to watch all the kids in this pool, but it is crazy deep. It had to be at least 100 feet or more deep. Who builds a pool this big? It's insanity. Number 3. Spre! This is one ugly title. However, what do you expect from a game which has one of its characters vomiting all the time? And that's one of its features. The camera was bad, the level design was terrible, and overall it just wasn't fun to play. I have said this before. I would love to be in the room when people are coming up with a game. I have to assume that the people who came up with this title got drunk one day and threw up all over the room and said, "Hey, there's an idea for a game." They called the game Spray because that's what your main character's friends do. They spray out a substance to help your character. Water from the nice looking one and puke from the ugly one. That's right, I said puke. They have an attack that is nothing but vomit. So you can spray vomit all over the environment, but honestly, sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between a clean area and a puke-filled one. Number 2. Ninja Breadman. I know there's going to be some loyal fans out there that are going to be like shocked that I put this at number 2. I've been talking about this for years on how much I hate this title. However, this year in a bargain bin, we actually beat this. And with that, my frustration with it is lessened. At the very least, this game is playable. So long as you don't use the motion controls, of course. This is the Wiiviewer.
And a little Wiiviewer.
And we're going to review Ninja Breadman for the Wii.
Which is really bad.
Shh, you can't give away the review already.
Why not?
Because they won't watch anything else if they already know the ending.
Well, they won't know what's bad about the game.
Everything. What did you think of the controls?
Okay, I would say awful. You would think the jump would be like the A button, but apparently you use the nunchucks and you bring it up and you to do a jump, and a double jump is like you have to bring it up twice, and it's like, what are you supposed to do? It's not sensitive enough.
Was there anything you liked about the game?
If you don't like the game at all, you should just play around in the menu, and when you're done, get into the game, quit the game, and use the menu again, and play around over and over and over again. Number 1. Troll and I! Congratulations, Troll and I! You have unseated Ninja Breadman as the worst game that I've ever reviewed. If you had asked me like a year ago, I would have never believed it. But yet, here we are. While Ninja Breadman was barely playable, this game isn't, at least for me. The frame rate is atrocious, it controlled terribly, and it locks up and stops working about 15 minutes in. So that's why I picked it as the worst game that I ever reviewed. It says to be careful and come at the pig from downwind, but it never tells you the direction of the wind. Maybe I could tell by looking at this animated steam coming from this from my prey. Nope, they didn't even bother to animate that. Just keep stalking till you can throw a spear at it twice. Then you get to do this again, because this quest was so much fun. Then you hear a noise and you see this cutscene, where apparently you become unfazed and you can see your future self for a few seconds. Did my character become the Flash all of a sudden? And then you find your mom. She's trapped by an easily get-aroundable tree. Seriously, duck under this tree. Step over the tree. Don't just sit there like a
an idiot. I know this is a video game trope of something minor being an impassable feat. However, in 10 seconds from now, you apparently figure out how to get around the tree because here come those quick time events, jumping or ducking under trees. The exact thing you couldn't do a few seconds ago. It was just one tree after another. It was very dull and repetitive, and the sense of geography felt wrong. It felt like I was running too much away from where I wanted to go. Also, those trees look like someone set a blowtorch on a couple parts of it. Do trees usually burn like they have pockets of gas coming out of them? I've never been to Nova Scotia before, but according to this game, their trees are made with methane gas. Well, that's it. 10 years of doing reviews, and these are the top 10 games that I hated playing the most. Now, in my next video, I'm going to try and figure out which were the best games that I ever reviewed. I want to thank you all again for watching me these last 10 years. They've been a lot of fun, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day.